turn this corner now for a little snippet on leadership. In his time away from Toastmasters, Shah has done a lot of thinking about history, global politics. He wants to share his thoughts today on the two most important American presidents with his speech entitled Reagan, Kennedy, and Carson. Reagan and Kennedy. Welcome, Toastmaster Shah.
Pop and Jay.
Good morning, my fellow Toastmasters.
Good morning, fellow Jay.
I've been on a prolonged absence, and my membership lapsed for the first time since I first joined the club in 2016. Since the last time I've given a speech, I've crossed the north side of 30. I'm actually 31 now, and I've matured a little bit. I took my suit to the dry cleaners, and I've been studying politics and history and spirituality and philosophy and so many other topics at a very, very deep level, and been comparing them against my own personal life and understanding how everything has led to the position that we all find ourselves in today. I'm one of the younger members in this club. There was a time at which I was the youngest member. And when I was the youngest member, almost every person here had basically lived through this period called the Cold War, even if for a few days or a few months if they were born in 1988 or something like that. It's a time that I never lived in. I was born in 1992. And I must say that I'm glad that I did not live through that period. And I want to talk about these two great presidents, Ronald Reagan and John F. Kennedy, for the contributions they made in ending that horrendous conflict, which may have ended the entire world. As society progresses, as technology progresses, we often find ourselves in a position where someone can say, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Decade after decade, our technology gets better, our standard of living gets better, but the threats presented to humanity increase in scope and scale. The horrors of World War I led to the increased horrors of World War II, and the pressure of that entire conflict led to the creation of the bomb, which, thankfully, to this date, has only been used upon a populace once, or you may say in 2 doses of one, to end World War II, and never since. However, the presidents, including our president today, our previous president, the president before that, and most importantly, Presidents Reagan, Kennedy, and the other presidents of the Cold War, had to deal with the prospect of nuclear Armageddon every waking second of their lives. And the purpose I'm bringing this knowledge to you today for is to say that I hope anybody can view the way that these people looked at this conflict and look internally as to how it can help anyone solve an individual conflict within their own life. Basically, they were very firm against the opposition, but they made sure to try to find peace. As compared to conflicts in the past where peace could not be found, such as World War II, which led to the total death count of 30, 40, 50 million people, certain genocides in Asia or Africa or wherever else. When people start fighting with each other and they start retaliating, conflicts escalate. You may have seen this within your life. You may have seen this within institutions or organizations you've been in. And John F. Kennedy, on June 10th, 1963, gave a speech about peace. He was clear that the United States was profoundly against communism and the USSR, but he was adamant in making sure that the American people did not view the Soviets simply as monsters, as purely evil people. He encouraged them to see the humanity in the other. And that is not a stance that people necessarily have taken before or after with respect to their enemies. And it is the thing that could have quite literally saved the lives of every single person here. And that is a very serious statement. I don't know what it means to be in the midst of a nuclear war. And none of us actually know what that means, but it could have happened had Kennedy operated differently. A nuclear war could have broken out in the 80s as well, or in the 70s. And President Reagan gave a speech at the Berlin Wall, and he spoke about how he would like to increase communication with Moscow, how he would like to increase relationships internationally, and how the United States systems are designed for defense and not for retaliation. Anytime there's a conflict, people think that to attack is probably not good, to defend is probably good, but the gray area exists in retaliation. Retaliation is what often creates escalating conflicts that can lead to tens of millions of people dying. These two presidents were not Popinjays. They handled the most difficult conflict that had ever existed, and they were able to prevent it and nix it before it turned into an Armageddon that could have otherwise destroyed the entire world, including everybody. And I just want to say that without getting into quotes, without getting into so many things, that I encourage anybody in this room, if they have an interest in history, if they have an interest in global politics, to watch Kennedy's peace speech given in 1963, to watch Reagan's Berlin Wall speech. These are fantastic orators, and they used oration to achieve a very, very, very great effect. And they used oration as in the position of being the most powerful person in the world to stop something that could have caused a massive Armageddon. And I hope that in the course of time, as it unfolds, through artificial intelligence, through nuclear war that still exists as a possibility, through all the advanced weaponry that we have, and through all the divisiveness and struggle that we encounter interpersonally and interglobally, that future leaders can take pages of the books of these people and prevent further conflicts from occurring for the sake of all of mankind. Mr. Toastmaster.